Hi, I'm ChaYah Shalom, and I just thought I would use a little bit of my time wisely before I get ready to go to work today. And some of the things that I thought would be interesting to look at is that CFPB site. That's the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. I've never actually perused it other than make complaints, which didn't go anywhere. So I thought maybe I would check it out along with you, because if I'm going to look at something, at least for the first time, I'm going to record it, because why should we reinvent the wheel and just keep going over it and over it again? So this is the CFPB, Consumer, that's you and me, Financial Protection Bureau. Bureau actually has a meaning where there's a board of governors or lawyers or what have you. This is government. Now, remember those three credit agencies? And sometimes people call them bureaus. Those are not bureaus, those are agencies. But these right here, this is a bureau. And that, look at gov.gov. And I know dmv.gov also. But one thing I did notice here when I did make a few complaints, okay, maybe like 10, they did ask me for the Social Security number, so I know that they're dipping into there and they're getting some monies. They're getting paid using that. So let me just look at here. It says consumer education. So there's all these tabs up here that you can look at. Hey, enforcement, we gotta look at that one too. And news, ooh, we should know about that as well. But under consumer education, they have resources for yourself, resources for helping others, consumer complaint database. They got auto loans, bank accounts and services, credit cards. This is what Wonderbee was talking about. Got credit reports and scores, which I need to fix mine after all of that shenanigans over at the car dealerships. Debt collection, fraud and scams, money transfers, mortgages, payday loans, prepaid cards, reverse mortgages, student loans. Here you can submit a complaint. You can tell your story, order free brochures. I have no idea what those brochures are. And browse and ask CFPB. I wonder which one I want to go. Let me just try this credit card thing, because Wonderbee was saying that they show everybody, every credit card company's agreements or something like that. Learn when companies can change your credit card terms. They got the annual percentage rate. These are the key terms. Balance transfer. I've done plenty of those. Credit balance. Like how much credit do you have left over? Daily periodic rate, grace period, interest rate, pre-screened credit card offer, unauthorized use. So somebody uses your card. You left it at the gas station and they used it. Explore key terms. So there's key terms that we could explore. So let me just see. Best practices and leading research for helping others with money questions. Watch our webinar on financial stress and anxiety. Get to know the federal law that caps interest rates for service members. See more resources to use with people you serve. Let me see. Understand your situation. Well, there's common issues. You received a low credit limit. Sometimes they do that, you know. You paid off your balance, but were charged for interest. Okay. Here, these are other common issues. You tried to make a purchase, but were told the charge was not authorized. Take action, how-to guides, how to dispute a charge on your credit card bill, how to cancel your credit card account, how to get a refund on a product or service purchased with a card. Usually, American Express is really good about that. I go to them often with disputes, and boy, it's great. They're really good for customer service. Learn how the CFPB can help you. It says, we're the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, CFPB, a United States, that lets us know that's Washington, D.C., U.S. government agency that makes sure banks, lenders, and other financial companies treat you fairly. So let's see, easy to remember guidelines help people reduce credit card debt. All right. Your interest rate on existing balances generally cannot increase unless you're late on your payment. A card issuer cannot take more than 90 days to resolve your billing error. If you report a lost stolen card before it's used, you can't be held responsible for unauthorized charges. Well, let me just see. I mean, I have seriously done a lot of complaints with the CFPB, and mostly it's got to do with cars. How do I reduce this? How do I get this out of here so I can, now, hey, what happened? Oh, oh, I already did that. Okay, let me just go back to this. I meant to do that. I meant to move this over. There we go, because I want to see the whole thing. All right, let me see. What do I want to read first? Where did she go? She went, let me see, Wonderbee on a couple of my videos. It's telling me that the credit card agencies submit their things. What does it say here? Company could typically change your credit card terms. Understand how a credit card issuer calculates your interest rate. Learn the difference between a fixed and a variable. I wonder, where are you, Wonderbee? I need you right now. Learn when companies can change your credit. Okay, wait. A company can typically change your credit card terms for future purchases, but they're generally required to notify you 45 days in advance. What I wanted to find out is, where can we look at, American Express's terms? Credit cards. Let me just click on something here. I'm looking to see if I can find, what does this say? How do we find out about compliance? Let me just go there. Registration and submission programs? Let me just look at that. What is that? Registration and submission programs? I don't even know what that is. There's a lot of stuff here. Not like I want to spend my whole day, but it's 12:30. I don't have to be at work for a couple of hours, so. Prepaid, hey, what is this? Prepaid account agreements. Is that one of those prepaid type of card things? I don't know. What is this? Prepaid account agreement submissions, credit card agreements and submissions, Home Mortgage Disclosure Act. Oh, that could be a good thing to read. I'm just going to skim on this whole thing. I'm not going to spend all my live long days on this entire website. But you guys can go on there, CFPB or consumerfinance.gov. All right, so let me just look at something registration and submission programs. Let me see, what is this credit card agreements? Read more about credit card agreements. Instructions for issuers on submitting credit card agreements. So I'm not an issuer like American Express and those other. It says that we maintain a database of credit card agreements from more than 300 card issuers. Using the database, you can search for an agreement by the name of the issuer. Some full text searching is available. Well, that's what I want to find out because I want to see if, like Wonderbee was showing me that she went here to look at their thing and then she looked at on their website, you know, American Express, and they didn't match, by the way. I want to see if that happens. Let me see. What do we got here? Review the data and access resources for submitting credit card agreements. Know before you owe. We develop a shorter, simpler credit card agreement. Oh, that spells out the terms for the consumer. Oh, we believe our approach will help consumers better understand their credit card agreements. Oh, so they got like a prototype of a shortened plan. Okay, I get that. So terms of credit card plans. We semi-annually survey, review the data and access resources for submitting the terms of credit card plans. Survey now. Because I'm not a credit card company. College credit card marketing agreements. Consumer credit card market in 2021. Oh, so their reports. Oh, that's the last 2021. Our credit card market reports. Let me just click on that. But like it's 2024, you know? 2021, wow. Okay, so it says that credit card delinquencies, these are blogs, are higher than in 2019 because lenders took on more risk. Well, you know, you guys did do a scam-demic on us too. Wow. You know what I'm talking about? Starts with a C, has a V in it, and ends with a D. Every 2 years, the reports on the state of the consumer credit card market. Consumer credit. Okay, so what am I looking for? There's a credit card act, debt collection, and then there's credit cards. Well, let's look up credit cards because I'm really wanting to see. Okay. Mortgage trends. Mortgage. Don't you think that's weird? This Bureau data point article describes 2020 mortgage market activity. Hello. Were we just looking at credit cards? How did it go to mortgage? All right, so category, select up to five. Up to five what? Consumer complaints, consumer education and empowerment, data point, data spotlight. Let's look up consumer complaint for a second. And the credit card, select up to five. Let me see. Access to credit, arbitration, auto loans, and banking. I don't know. What am I doing? We're filtering the reports, so search by keywords. All right, let me just go with American Express. I don't really know what I'm doing right now. Apply the filters. Wait, let me see. The data range from, let's say 01, 2024 to 08. Okay. Apply the filters. What are we going to find? I'm just looking to see what. Sorry, there were no results based on your filter selection. Sign up for updates. Card delinquencies, okay. All right. Well, that didn't work. Wonderbee, how did you do this? How did you look for... All right, let me just look at the news for a second. Let me see what's going on in the news. What's going on? Press releases, speeches, testimonies, statements, director's notebook, consumer advisories. Let me see what consumer advisories has to say. Is anything happening? Wait a minute. Help is available for people facing housing problems because of a contract for deed? Oh, what's that? People living in a home paid for through a contract for a deed can seek help to stay in their home instead of losing it when trouble. Hey, that sounds good. Oh, what's this, you guys? Look at that. Consumer advisory: steer clear of costly and complex loans for solar energy installation. Whoa. Warning, warning, warning. I heard about that. Like the little tiny print says something like, hey, if you guys do not pay us within 6 months or whatever, we can put a lien on your house. Here's that other one. Opportunity to cancel student loan debt ends soon. And then what is this? People have the right to cancel credit repair services. Okay. Take action when home insurance is canceled. Some of these are in Spanish. Your money is at greater risk when you hold it in a payment app. Oh, instead of moving it to an account with deposit insurance. Oh, so if you have Venmo or Cash App or PayPal, you got to move it. Oh, yeah, you don't want to keep your money in a payment app. Oh, like Cash App. Consider moving it to a bank, credit union, or card account so it can be covered by federal deposit insurance. That's good to know. Oh, look at this consumer advisory. Don't give money or information to scammers promising student loan forgiveness. Right. What is this one down here? Consumer advisory. Know your rights under the Service Member Civil Relief Act. A consumer advisory from the CFPB's Office of Service Member Affairs. Waiver rights and updates to lease termination notification options. Huh. Oh, look at this one. Don't be misled by reverse mortgage advertising. You might see enticing images of youthful retirees on the golf course or enjoying other leisurely activities in reverse mortgage advertisement. We looked closely at many ads and found incomplete and inaccurate statements used to describe the loans. Reverse mortgage ads don't always tell the whole story, so consider these facts when you see advertisements. And what is this other one? Your benefits are protected from garnishment. Wow. Really? Whoa, this could be good for some people. Over 1/3 of the complaints that older consumers submit to us are related to debt collection. Okay. In some of these complaints, consumers told us that debt collectors threatened to garnish their benefits from supplemental security income. Look at how they did SSI. Didn't it used to be Social Security Insurance? Now they're calling it Supplemental Security Income? Social Security Disability Insurance and VA benefits, even though these funds usually can't be garnished. Here's the important information about how these benefits are protected from garnishment. So there's some good things that you can go on this CFPB and learn about. Student loan debt relief companies may cost you thousands of dollars and drive you further into debt. Wow. Virtual currencies and what you should know about them, like Bitcoin, XRP, Dogecoin. Oh. It says, don't fall for foreclosure relief scam or bogus legal help. Co-signers can cause surprise defaults on your private student loans. So there's a lot of good subjects here. This is kind of cool. But I am being distracted because I think I was here. I wanted to find out. I wanted to see American Express's thing, but I read something on there that said that they only have it up to 2021 anyways. So I would think that the the company, the bank or credit card company would have theirs more up to date. Let me see. Got to read through all this stuff. Compliance resources. Let me look at that. Advisory opinion, supervision examinations. Okay. Look at this. Under mortgages. Wow. There's a lot of people that can maybe go here and deal. TILA. Truth in Lending Act. RESPA, Integrated Disclosures, Consumer Lending, Deposit Accounts and Services. Hey, remittance transfers and electronic fund transfers. Okay, consumer cards. All right, there it is. Browse all consumer card resources. But I kind of want to go over here because I see this remittance transfer. Let me just see what that says because I'm just curious. What is that? What does that mean? Remittance transfer rule model forms. Let me click on that. Electronic fund transfers. Hey, what's this all about? What does this mean? Prepayment disclosures for remittance transfers exchanged into local currency. Subsection 1005.31B1, which includes the general disclaimer for fees charged by the recipient's bank and foreign taxes. What is this that I have stumbled upon? I do not know what this is, Samayan. Prepayment disclosures for remittance transfers exchanged into local currency, same subsection, which includes the general disclaimer and an example, the estimate of fees charged by the recipient's bank. So it looks like to me, if you were to go take those remittance coupon things, is that what it is? To the bank, then they can charge you a fee. What is this thing? Receipts for remittance transfers. Combined disclosures for remittance transfers exchanged into local currency. Why don't we download a PDF and see what is this? I do not know what this is, Sam. I am. What is this thing? A-30A, model form for prepayment disclosures for remittance transfers exchanged into local currency. So let's just say it's, I don't know, ABC company, any town, any state, today's date, not a receipt. There's a transfer amount, $100. Then there's a transfer fee and transfer taxes. So the total is 110. The exchange rate, US peso, $1 equals 12.27 MXN. I don't know what that means. What does that mean? MXN, I don't know what that is. Is that Mexican? Mexican? I don't know what that means. Transfer amount. 1,227. What does this mean? Recipient may receive less due to fees charged by the recipient's bank and foreign taxes. I've never seen this before, so I don't even know what I'm looking at. Does anybody know what this is? Comment down below, because I don't even know what that is. Well, over here, what do we got? Regulation and official interpretation. Browse the remittance rule. Hey, should we look at that? Interactive Bureau Regulations, ECFR. Well, we got main remittance transfer rule provisions and official interpretations can be found in 1005-30 definitions. I think we want to look at that. What? Browse remittance transfer rule? Browse final rule? What's the matter, baby? What happened? What is it? Do you want me to do something for you? You don't want me to be here reading for a million years? You want to go outside? This looks like something. Download the latest version. Statement regarding supervisory and enforcement practices. No. See the remittance transfer rule examination procedure. Unofficial red line. May 2020 amendment. Executive summary of the May. What is this stuff? I'm already getting sleepy because it's so boring. See the remittance transfer rule examination procedures. All right, let me look at that. Files. What is this thing? Huh? Remittance transfer. It sounds good, but I don't know. These procedures should be used to examine institutions that provide remittances in the normal course of business for compliance with protections afforded consumers in the United States who send remittances to individuals and businesses in foreign countries. Huh? Including to accounts abroad. Did you want to go outside, Karma? All right, hang on. Let me just, you want to go? What? You don't want to go outside. Okay. I don't know what you want. I don't know what I want either. I'm sleepy. I'm tired. I'm hungry. All those things. What exactly is this background regulatory history? All right. Let me read this thing right here. The Wall Street Reform and Dodd-Frank Act. I've heard of this. Amended the Electronic Fund Transfer Act and created a new system of consumer protections for remittance transfers sent by consumers in the United States to individuals and businesses in foreign countries. In December 2011, the CFPB restated the board's implementing regulations. In February 2012, the CFPB published Subpart B requirements for remittance transfer to Regulation E. I've heard of that. To implement the new remittance protections set forth in the Dodd-Frank Act. The following a series of amendments published later in 2012 and in early 2013, the Bureau published another amendment in May of 2013 to, among other things, establish a new effective date of October 28th, 2013. So you guys could look up 78fed.reg 30661, May 22nd, 2023. In 2014, the Bureau extended a temporary exception within the remittance rule that has since expired and provided some basic clarifications and technical corrections to the rule effective November 17, 2014. Sheesh, they keep pushing it off. What is up with this? Look at it, goes all the way up to October 12, 2016. The Bureau further amended Regulation E in November 2016. These amendments were finalized and effective as of April 1st. April Fools 2019. The latest amendments to Regulation E occurred in May of 2020. Further amending Subpart B, effective July 21st, 2020. Regulation 34870. So what does this mean? Effective remittance rules on transaction practice. A remittance transfer is an electronic transfer of money from a consumer in the U.S. to a person or business in a foreign country. It can include transfers from retail non-depository money transmitters, as well as banks and credit unions that transfer funds through wire transfers, automated clearinghouse transactions, or other methods. All right, my interest is piqued, but I'm feeling tired. Okay, so the rule requires providers to disclose to consumers who send these transfers certain fees, the exchange rate, and an indication of the amount to be received by the recipient. So they're going to charge for doing that. Disclosures must generally be provided when the consumer first requests a transfer. Oh, and again, when payment is made. The rule also contains specific provisions applicable to transfer that consumers schedule in advance and for transfers that are scheduled to recur on a regular basis. In addition, the rule also generally requires that, number one, consumers receive the opportunity to cancel a transfer and get their money back. 2, companies investigate if a consumer reports a problem with a transfer. For certain errors, consumers can generally get a refund or have the transfer sent again free of charge if the money did not arrive as promised. 3, companies that provide remittance transfers are responsible for mistakes made by certain people who work for them. Oh, okay. Additional guidance in the form of a narrative summary of the remittance transfer rule and an examiner checklist are provided in the supplemental information attached to these procedures. Consumer risks addressed outside the remittance rule. To carry out the objectives set forth in the examination objective section, the examination process should also include assessing consumer risks addressed outside the remittance rules. These risks may include potentially unfair, deceptive, or abusive acts or practices. UDAAPs. So that goes unfair, deceptive, abusive acts or practices. Examiners should refer to the procedures that address that. For information about the relevant legal standards and the CFPB's approach to examining for unfair, deceptive, abusive acts or practices, because the particular facts and circumstances in case are crucial to the determination of the unfair, deceptive, or abusive acts or practices. It says that examiners should consult with headquarters to determine whether the applicable legal standards have been met before an unfair, deceptive, abusive acts practices violation is cited. Moreover, examiners should ensure that the remittance transfer provider's account agreement does not waive the consumer's rights under the electronic funds transfer. This could work. Or Regulation E, Section 914 of EFTA, Electronic Funds Transfer Act, 15 U.S.C. 16931, provides that an agreement or writing between the consumer and the institution cannot contain language that constitutes a waiver of any consumer's right, that's good, or cause of action created by the Electronic Funds Transfer Act or Regulation E. For example of this, which has been cited on previous deposits examinations, is including a requirement that the consumer must agree to cooperate with an investigation before the institution will conduct an error investigation. Okay, so that's kind of cool in a way because it talks about if you did one of those things, you're not waiving your rights. You're a consumer. And then they said, including a requirement that the consumer must agree to cooperate. Okay, they gave me that SWIFT number and I thought it was my deposit account. I was going to use it. Right? Reversed. Okay, so further examiners should consider whether a remittance provider has complied with privacy provisions enacted as part of that Graham-Leach-Bliley Act and implemented through Regulation P. These provisions impose limitations on when financial institutions can share non-public personal information with third parties. Hey, I have a feeling that this has got to do with our credit score. Because right here, if that was some type of a private thing, and they go and tell everybody out there, hello, they just, they gave non-public personal information and told it to the world or third parties, you know? So that, you know, right there, that's a good one. Graham-Leach-Bliley Act. That says, hey, you can't be reporting my private stuff between you and me. But you said that you okayed it. You signed it right here. But I don't want you doing that. They also require under certain circumstances that financial institutions disclose their privacy policies and permit customers to opt out of sharing certain practices with unaffiliated entities. Yeah, so we gotta opt out. Scoping considerations. The remittance transfer protections provided by Regulation E. We got to remember that's Regulation E. We're going to have to look that. That looks like a good one. Apply to entities that offer remittances as part of their normal course of business. Under Regulation E, entities that provide 500 or fewer remittance transfers in the relevant time frame fall outside this definition. Okay. Instead, they fall within a 500 transfer safe harbor. Hey, for an entity to qualify for the safe harbor, it must have provided 500 or fewer remittance transfers in both the current calendar year and the previous calendar year. If an entity sends more than 500 in the previous calendar year or the current calendar, it no longer qualifies for the normal course of business safe harbor. And therefore, generally, it must begin complying with the rule within a reasonable period of time, not to exceed 6 months. Examiners should consider the volume of remittance transfers that an entity provides before proceeding further. Only entities that provide more than 500 remittance transfers in the relevant time frame should be examined for compliance with the remittance transfer rules. Management and policy-related examination procedures. I'm just going to read it. Number 1, through a review of all available information, example, board minutes, management reports, monitoring reports, etc., and discussions with management, determine that the board and management have set clear expectations about compliance with federal consumer financial law. I have a feeling that this means the Social Security number, including Regulation E, not only within the entity, but also concerning key business partners, agents, correspondent banks, and software providers to the extent relevant. Okay. I'm getting tired. I have to conserve my energy. But if you guys want to look at this, you can go on CFPB and look up the remittance transfer thing. Transaction-related examination procedures. I don't know. Wow, this is long. I don't think it can hang. Yo, what is all this stuff? Obtain and review a sample. Yeah. Prepayment disclosures. Hey, that sounds good. Somebody look up 12 CFR 1005.31B1. Based on a review of the provider's policies and, if appropriate, sample transactions, determine that it appropriately categorizes third-party fees as covered or non-covered. Oh, okay. I guess that means that the banks can charge us if we want to do these transfers with a remittance transfer. Yeah, I'll pay a fee if you want to. Yeah, I'll send it in. Is that, what do they call those people? Transfer agents? Karma? Is that what that is? Because I've seen some people take their statement into the bank with the coupon attached and deposit it into their bank. And then they, what? Go ahead and pay? They pay their bill that way? I don't know. That sounds great. I would do that if my bank would take it. But the last time I went and took my Verizon statement, it was all signed like a check and all that jazz. They're like, well, what are you doing, lady? Like, this goes to, send it to Verizon. We don't deal with that. I go, yeah, but it's got all the attributes of a check. Put it in, deposit. They go, no, took it to the teller, took it to the bank manager, and they're like, no, this got to go to Verizon. Like, oh man. So what is this thing? Graham Leach Blight, implementing regulations subject to certain exceptions prohibit financial institutions from disclosing non-public personal information. Yeah, that's what I agree with. The Dodd-Frank Act prohibits unfair, deceptive or abusive acts or practices. Doesn't that happen all the time at the car dealership and the bank and when you buy a house? Come on. A representation omission. Yeah, you leave all that out. Well, practice is deceptive when the representation, omission, act, or practice misleads or is likely to mislead the consumer. The consumer's interpretation of the representation, omission, act, or the practice is reasonable under the circumstances, and the misleading representation, omission, act, or practice is material. An act or practice is unfair when it causes or is likely to cause substantial injury to consumers. Yeah, that high credit, that low credit score on those, Graham Leach Bliley Act violations with those credit agencies caused me harm because it raised up the interest rate at the car dealership, and then come on, 22.3% or 11.3%. That's ridiculous. So the injury is not reasonably avoidable by consumers. Well, the injury is not, I needed my car. That's the only way they're going to give it to me. I couldn't avoid it. I didn't have a car, so hey, there you go. Let me see. The injury is not outweighed by countervailing benefits. The injury is not outweighed by countervailing benefits to consumers or to competition. I don't know what that means. An abusive act of practice materially interferes with the ability of a consumer to understand a term or condition of a consumer financial product or service. Like, it's kind of weird. I did buy a car recently in Las Vegas, and I live in California, and my car broke down, and I wanted to go on vacation, so I had to rent a car. So that meant I need to get a driver's license. So I had to do that, to get that, to get that. And the weird thing, they're all, hey, yeah, we will do free oil changes on your car and wash it every week for free. I'm like, really? That's cool. For a whole year? That's cool. Like, can I get it done at the local place where I live? No, it's only here. I'm like, I don't live here. So to me, is that? I mean, I kind of had to ask and figure it out. But then they're like, oh yeah, well, this doesn't have anything to do with you then. I'm like, well, then why did you even tell me? Come on, what's wrong with you? Takes unreasonable advantage of a lack of understanding on the part of the consumer of the material risks. Yeah, you got to come all the way to Las Vegas every week. Costs or conditions of the product or service. The inability of the consumer to protect the interests of the consumer in selecting or using a consumer financial product or service, or the reasonable reliance by the consumer on a covered person to act in the interests of the consumer. Did that say covered person? Oh, covered. That sounds good. So look at all this good stuff. Regulation E, model forms of remittance transfer. I don't exactly know what their remittance transfer exactly is, but if it has anything to do with when you first file that application, because I want to get a car. So here's the application. And then they don't tell me that they filled out at SSA-89 and got a remittance transfer into the account where they made a deposit with their company. Did the car get paid for in full? Is that what that was? Oh. Then they try to put me into some high interest shark rate of a fake loan. Yeah, I think we rescind that fake loan and thank you for the gift of my car because it was paid for in full by your remittance transfer that happened through electronic disclosure, whatever they didn't tell me. I'm just saying. Okay. Not exactly sure that that's what this all means, but exchange rate total to recipient. I didn't get any money. They didn't give me any money at all. They, what do they call it? Compelled me of the social security number though. Well, that's a federal offense right there. Are the car dealerships federal agencies? Are they government? No. Why are they using that? Because it doesn't mean, a social security card it's not an ID. I'm just saying. Anyways, I think I'm getting tired. This is a lot of reading, but this does it to you. This does it to me, at least. I get tired. You guys get tired? Anyways, I guess I didn't exactly find out what I was looking for, but you can go on there and you can also make a complaint and sick them on them and see if it does anything. I made like 10 complaints and then they just forward it to the FTC and then the FTC is like, oh, thank you very much for that information. And, we're just going to wait for a whole bunch of people to complain. Everybody go complain, please, so that things get happening around here. Because I think the Attorney General doesn't even deal with the individual. They only do like, what do they call it? Class action lawsuit type of thing. But hey, if everybody goes on the CFPB, I mean, they're probably going to ask you for the social security number. So that lets you know that they're dipping into the straw man's back pocket there. But you don't have to give it to them. You could just say, that, are you compelling me of the social security number? Because that's a federal offense. Are you? CFPB, are you federal? Are you saying I'm federal? Is that how you get paid? I don't know. Ask questions. Anyways, I'm tired. Can you tell? I'm getting tired. I need to eat something, drink something. Let me drink something. Mm. You know what this is? I made this today. Cactus pear. I just strained them with water and it tastes really good. I had to strain it because otherwise it'd be using a spittoon, having to spit out all the seeds. But anyways, go to the CFPB and look at all that great stuff. There's a ton of stuff on there. And then once you read it, you can make a complaint if you need to and see if you can see if you got violated and get paid, you know? Hey, that should work. All right. I'll let you go. I gotta go. I gotta go to work soon. Bye-bye.